Ask Me Anything. The poll lasted for a few days.
Oh,
I think there were maybe 10,000
hopefully,
responses in
good.
the
Whew.
end, and an exactly 50-50 split. One thing we didn't ask is whether you wanted us to do this at all. So we're just going to assume that every single one of those multiple choice answers wanted us to proceed. To try to keep you happy, we decided to do a topic-specific AMA, but one that is as general as possible. In fact, that covers the entire scope of this show, space-time. And so the topic for the day is the nature of space and the nature of time. Now, I should start out by pointing out that no one knows what the nature of space and the nature of time are. And so, forgive me if we don't get any real answers by the end of this, but it seems appropriate to start with a quote from someone who isn't perhaps an expert, but does perhaps have the wisdom to guide us. In fact, a question from Examinarian gave this quote: "Time is an illusion. Lunchtime, doubly so." Of course, from the late, great Douglas Adams. And if we're using Douglas Adams, we might as well go for the most famous Douglas Adams quote on space, which is simply that space is big. Really big. You just won't believe how vastly, hugely, mind-bogglingly big it is. And that's about all we know about space and time. Time may be real, it may be an illusion. Likewise space, although if it's an illusion, there's certainly lots of it. I'm probably not more qualified than Douglas Adams to expound on the nature of space, but I'm sure going to have fun trying by answering the questions that you guys posted in the community section on YouTube. So, following his quote, Examinarian, forgive me if I don't get all of the names right, asks, simply, what is the nature of time? And why does lunchtime run at different speeds for the patrons, waiting staff, chefs, and the lad who empties the bins? On the same note, Cosmic Insane asks, what is space? What properties does it have? What can we measure or derive? Etc., etc. So before launching into some of the more detailed questions, and there are many very good ones, I want to muse a little bit upon these topics to sort of flesh out what we're actually pursuing here. So I guess we have a spectacularly successful mathematical description of both space and time. Okay, we start in this description with Newtonian physics, in which the dimensions that form the stage on which the play of the universe takes place. In the case of space, it's the coordinate system, it's the grid on which particles move, they exert forces on each other. And then, of course, we have time as the series of stages, okay, the pages of the flipbook, in which the particles' positions are updated due to all of our beautiful Newtonian mechanics. Then Einstein came and changed all of it. Space and time became space-time due to the fact that these two dimensions have the tendency to morph together depending on reference frame. The best place to explore that is the episode we did on the geometry of causality. But I suppose still space and time remained a type of stage, albeit a very wibbly wobbly morphable stage. The big difference is that it became impossible to define a single spatial stage, a single slice of space, as some kind of definite now. or universal simultaneous moment, the relativity of simultaneity, showed us, I guess, that my perception of now could be some other observer's future and yet another observer's past. And this leads us to the notion of the block universe, okay, in which all space and all of time, they sort of have a unified, timeless existence. The appropriate episode is, of course, do the past and the future exist? But
as I've been stating, fermionic and bosonic to the Copenhagen interpretation of the Minkowskian space, given the derivative of whether that object's in space, on Earth, Mars, Venus, or why the world lines, real lines, the top lines. Again, I've been using Don the Mechanic is what's up in the middle, right? Obviously, he's one of the ones in superposition for that, but he comes it when that reality to what Copenhagen of multi-worlds that person could take for Schrodinger's box.
But
learn from the best.
Depiction of